Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, TAMI Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to this week ahead show. Looking at the energies from the week ahead of whenever you will hear this podcast episode. We are back today with the bringers of the Light Mabon and Murder as we drop into another channeled chapter with Abigail and Dakar and the Autumn Festival. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the show. If you're a returning family member, then welcome back. Welcome back as I get ourselves situated. So for folks that are new, the way we do these week ahead, so the way we've been doing them, is bringing in the Bringers of the Light stories. That is a series of books that I've written. All of my books are free to read over on Smashwords. The links to all of that are in my show notes, wherever you find this podcast. And we are right now working on Mabon and Murder. And whenever I channel in a new chapter, it just happens that there's metaphors and meanings and all of that for right now for the week ahead. The other thing I'm going to do, is bring out a card deck. So we'll read the channeled chapter and talk about the metaphors for the week ahead, what you can expect to be coming up within and around you, universal or global energies, as well as energies that might be pertinent to you, since this is kind of a general overarching, I don't want to call it a reading, so to speak, but general overarching energies. We'll just see what comes up, and you will be able to use your own powers of intuition and bring in your own guides to help you discern what these energies might mean for you personally. So let's do that now. I'm going to wrap us all in love light and light love, inviting in the spirit guides who oversee and overlight this show. Our friends, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, and whatever one of my guides would like to join us here in this space, in this place for this week upcoming. And you can do the same as you're listening, inviting in your own spirit friends, deities, master teachers, source, universal energies, angels, fairies, whoever you'd like to join you. Whoever can help you with, or whoever is helping you with your path at this time. So let me just, because as the guides have me kind of move about my studio space and pick things up and kind of just do stuff as I'm talking to you, I just like to take stock here. So what they're having me do first is grab the Bubble deck. So I would say 90% of the decks I use on this channel are my own design, my own making. All my decks are available for purchase if you are so interested. It sounds so formal. If you are so interested. There are on my website as well as on YouTube in a playlist. Deck walkthroughs of all these decks. They're available on the Game Crafter website. The links, again, back to all of that are in the show notes of these videos. So what they're having me do is pull some cards in advance and just lay them flat, so I can't really see what they are. I have a feeling they said they're going to give me 4. We're going to read, there's the 4. So we're going to read, I'm not going to look at these yet, and obviously this is a podcast episode right now, so you won't see them, but I'll put them in the thumbnail of the episode. And what we're going to do first is we're going to read the chapter. Now, since this, I said, ends up becoming a book, at some point, though. You don't have to have followed all these chapters prior to this. This is chapter 4. If you've been following this podcast for a while, then you've heard all the previous chapters before. But these kind of stand alone in relation to the upcoming energy. So at some point, we may read them all together to you in an audiobook format on the channel, like we've done before with some of the other books. But right now, just a quick recap from where we left off in the previous chapter is Bringers of the Light. So Abigail and Dakar, divine counterparts, work for Bringers of the Light. So light warriors, light workers, whatever you want to call yourself. You are all who listen to this, fellow Bringers of the Light family. You're all, whatever label you want to give yourself, star seeds, light warriors, light bringers, light workers. You can put whatever label on it you want, but you're all working on behalf of the light in some way. Or you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be drawn to this podcast and so on and so forth. So the other thing they're going to have me do, if you listen to our Halloween episode, even if you didn't, we have a Samhain candle that we're working with. We lit it on Samhain/Halloween, and we're just going to light it again. So I did have it lit earlier this morning, and when I peered inside, there were unicorns in there. So we'll see what comes up. And we continue to work with the incantation of the candle that we channeled on Samhain. So I'll just read that again. Somehow it has to be read for some reason every time we light the candle. This light shines bright in the dark. The words you will feel in your heart. A witch's broom, voices from the tomb. Allow them to assist. The time is now. The words will reveal a secret for you in the bell's final peal. Again, a little mysterious there at the end, but I'm just going to let that sit. We're going to bring in this chapter. So when we left off with Abigail and Dakar, something was happening around town. Someone had put some sort of truth serum or something weird and not very nice in the town's water supply in Rockaway Point. And folks were drinking the water and kind of becoming like very agitated and upset and anxious and breaking out in fights and all sorts of discord going on. And so the Bringers of the Light headquarters called in Abigail and Dakar, who live in Rockaway Point, because they need to step up to the plate, so to speak, and help foil this dark plan like they always do. Whenever we meet with them, they're always working on behalf of the light to clear up space, so to speak, from negative or dark forces. We also have Abigail's Coven, Spectre and Book, and they are, Polly Willikers is an elder member of the Coven, and her familiar pet, Tabby Cat, Scratchy, who is quite elderly, but is very young at heart. I don't know, we keep saying we don't know how long he's been around, but he's a familiar, so I think he's a little bit of a timeless familiar. He figured out something else is going on about town, and he just badgered Polly into taking him to this new vet around town, Posh Pets. And so he's been spending the night there getting hairball treatment, and he's been following the vet, and the vet's quote unquote familiar. I don't know who this vet is yet, because Scratchy thinks something else is going on there that he needs to follow up on too. So it's almost like we have two storylines. This is really interesting. Two storylines could be considered timelines, metaphorically, running concurrently with each other, which we know out there in the outer world, you're on your own timeline. There's many other timelines and agendas running concurrently right now in the 3D. There's, the 3D timeline, the 5D and above, multidimensional timelines, your own personal timelines and things happening. So in this particular chapter, though, we don't really bring Scratchy in at all. We are going to the Autumn Festival with Abigail. So let's drop in then. This is our week ahead. So I want you to, before I just start reading, I want you to kind of listen with your master ears. So this is no different than me which I will be looking at the cards, but it's no different than pulling cards or any other sort of quote-unquote divination, scrying, journey work that we do here on the podcast, and any of that. This is the same thing. It's a channeled story, as all of my work is. It came out via automatic writing, and the intention was, it's a chapter in the book, but the intention is, give us some messages and metaphors for the week ahead. So listen with your master ears, just as if someone was flipping cards and doing a card reading, and you'd kind of, they're reading and they're telling you what the cards say, and you are also looking at the cards, and you're also hearing or getting your own messages. Listen with those master ears as I'm reading this story. So I may not pick up on a metaphor that may be meaningful to you, that your guides may tap you on the shoulder as you're listening and say like, oh, that's meant for you. So listen with your master ears as we get into chapter 4, We've Got This. The limo pulled up to the curb at Crust, and Abigail... there we go, the limo. So beginning again. The limo pulled up to the curb at Crust and deposited Abigail precisely at 8 a.m. Having spent the night at Stargate HQ, she had received her orders on how to handle this situation around town. Dakar had also been prepped and was still waiting at headquarters for his instructions. He knew it wouldn't be long, and then he would come back to town and join Abigail at the Autumn Festival. He had been receiving special guidance from the Angel Squad, and his instructors were upgrading him to a higher vibrational frequency so he could bring in greater levels of light. He waited patiently in the healing pod for the upgrade to take place. Abigail went to the cooler to retrieve her cauldron. It had been waiting there with all the ingredients except for the special one that Rainicourt, who's her raven familiar, was to add right before the judge's tasting. She loaded her equipment into her car and placed the cauldron on the floorboard. She didn't want this special brew to spill before it even got there. The festival grounds were bright and cheerfully decorated with pumpkins and fall colors. The tents for each entrant were gaily flying the town flags, as well as the ancient core of the medieval regalia. The town having just celebrated its 500th year as a sovereign space where all souls were welcome, regardless of anything that might set them apart elsewhere. Young children bounced about in costumes of fairies and gnomes and Halloween spookiness. Abigail pulled up next to the tent of a Mr. Hanley Mathers, his being closest to the parking area. Abigail didn't know him personally, but did know he was new to town and had been rumored to have left a particularly nasty relationship behind in his hometown of Glistening Gulch. Hanley was outside his tent hanging a skeleton and beaming his smile up at the beautiful sky that was being quite cooperative at the moment. Rain was said to be coming later in the day, but the festival grounds were well prepared with tarps and awnings just in case folks needed to move under the brightly colored spaces for protection. Now, unbeknownst to mortal folk at the festival, a small band of gypsy gnomes and goblins had set up camp just outside the fairgrounds. They had the special task of keeping everyone especially spooked and beguiled so as to have a merry event. High Corps, that's their boss, had thought out this plan very carefully, and gnomes and goblins would be a perfect foil to what was really being planned for later that night. If bringers of the Light HQ were correct in their forecasting, then the evildoer would show themselves at this festival and try something dastardly. All was well, though, as every base and magical space was covered by the light, and no dark plan could fool the night for long. Or fool the light, fool the night, fool the light, fool the night, fool the light, fool the night. Maybe that's a song. "Take care," Hanley Mathers said to Abigail with a wink and a smile, as she rolled her cart with magical belongings and cauldron past his tent on the way to hers. "Oh, thank you, I will," Abigail said, as a familiar voice tapped into her mind space. "Quit flirting," Dakar said, half joking. "We've got work to do." Abigail pinged back with a "not so fast, Buster," and with a swish of her hand moved him out of her space for now. She needed all her wits about her, and his playful charm would simply have to wait for now. Oh my gosh, these stories always just make me laugh. All right, so let's tap into what metaphors Spirit is saying are most important for the overall energies for the week ahead, as well as anything you may have personally heard. So I think to keep us to keep us kind of on track there, I'm going to flip over the 4 cards that we drew before we started this. So the 4 cards are a scarecrow, but it's a happy scarecrow with things aren't always what they seem. That's one card, card number 1. Things aren't always what they seem. A happy little scarecrow with I'm assuming this is sunset in the background. Oh, this card keeps coming out. Love spell, time to call in new love. This card, I gotta look at the dates here. This card came up is something we're supposed to talk about for the 11/11. 11/11 gateway is, I'm recording this on the 3rd of November, so the 11/11 gateway is like 7 or 8 days from now. And love spell is one of the cards we're supposed to be working with for the 11/11 gateway. Time to call in new love. We also got the card Daydream. When Brandon first saw Penny, he couldn't stop thinking about her. He wondered if she felt the same way. Penny needed to know if Brandon really cared for her. She tried to work up the courage to ask him, but all she could do was daydream about what he might say. And then the last card, the 4th card we got is Unique, has a snowflake on it. And this is another story card, just like the Daydream card. And this one is Darius pulled on his leather pants and silk shirt. He loved to dress in different styles and colors, even though his family did not approve. Darius's mother, Lil, looked at her son as he was leaving the house. If only she could be so daring and unique like him. She was so proud, even though she never told him that. So what do these have to do with our story and the energies of the week ahead? I keep talking about High Core. So High Core and the Bringers of the Light is Dakar and Abigail's like quote unquote like boss or manager. He's like a higher ranking light bringer, so to speak, and kind of helps them with their whatever assignments that they are being given. Come down from higher light beings, even higher than High Core, come down to High Core, and then go to Abigail and Dakar. So it looks like there's going to be some kind of redirects this coming week. So everybody's got, if you are on your spiritual path, and you are working for the light, you're working on your own soul blueprint, soul plan for this lifetime. You've been going on a certain trajectory now for a while. And if you didn't listen to, I don't even remember what it was, our new moon episode, I think it's the one right before this, we talked about it was go time for everybody. That a lot of the obstacles and blocks that have been around for you doing some of your soul work and actually feeling like you're accomplishing something were falling away. And that, they're calling it divine reassigned. This has come up somewhere before, but divine reassigned. And so some of you are going to be getting like new levels of work. So it may not be that your work in the world, so to speak, your soul plan, your whatever is, it's not like it's completely changing. It's like you're getting an upgrade, almost like you're getting a promotion, so to speak. Now, I've seen this play out in the astrals. So during dream time, many times I'll be up in the angelic realms, which a lot of times for me is shown as maybe it's because it's the workspace I'm familiar with for so long, because I was in corporate for so long, but it's really like a lot of desks and sometimes cubicles and stuff, and teams of people working on stuff. Which I was an IT project manager, and I worked in corporate for like almost 30 years. I'm very familiar with that type of setup. But I really feel like that's kind of how it is higher up. It is like an HQ, and there are teams of light workers working on different assignments, and there's like different areas like security, and like everybody's got this particular focus. And I feel like your particular focus is not changing, they're saying, but you're getting like a security level upgrade or something, which means that's good. That's good news. Okay. So like in the story that we just read, in the chapter we just read, Dakar is getting an upgrade, and he is a divine masculine. Abigail's a divine feminine in this story. They are divine counterparts. It's almost like divine feminine has been upgraded, and divine masculine this week is really getting, it's not that divine feminine's not getting light upgrades, but they're a different, the Spirit's saying right now, they're a different style, a different type of upgrade. They're more cellular in focus, they're saying. So it's like your cellular body, that for divine feminine DNA structure, is getting an upgrade. Yes, through plasma body light upgrades, which I have been seeing those. I get those a lot at night, and I see them in my head, like light, like bright light, almost like a crystal skull. They're showing me crystal skulls. Like sometimes if I close my eyes at night, it's like someone has turned on a giant light in my head. It's so bizarre. It's the most weird thing. But these are all part of these cellular light body upgrades that the divine feminine is getting. Now the divine masculine, if you're a divine masculine listening to this, I just want to page back here in the story. It said Dakar was being prepped. Abigail's already gotten her orders, and she knows what to do. So I did get a card earlier for this that says something, the same thing, like you already know what to do. So divine feminine already has like the instruction set of what you're supposed to be doing. And we talked about that last episode. If you want to go back and listen to that, you can. But that instruction set has already been downloaded from your Akash. Your path and your blueprint and all that. It's kind of been set. You already know what to do. You just need to do it. You just need to know that the blocks and obstacles have been taken out of the way, and you need to like get moving. So we talked about the get moving. But the divine masculine in this case was, Dakar was being prepped and was still waiting at headquarters for his instructions. He knew it wouldn't be long, and then he could come back to town and join Abigail at the autumn festival. He had been receiving special guidance from the angel squad, and his instructors were upgrading him to a higher vibrational frequency so he could bring in greater levels of light. He waited patiently in the healing pod for the upgrade to take place. So bringing in greater levels of light means that, yeah, your crown is expanding. So divine masculine, it sounds like you've been doing your work in terms of your connection to the spiritual realm, be it greater, being more consistent in meditation practice. You're doing something to connect to source that is now allowing you to bring in greater levels of light and hold more light within your physical light, within your body, like within your form, within your auric field. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why the feminine has been doing that. I think the divine masculine they're saying they just have to kind of catch up. So divine masculine, as the divine feminine is getting these cellular body upgrades, you're getting like a chakra balance. Oh, okay. So, okay, I get it. So your lower chakras have been very, the ones that have been kind of moving you through your space, so to speak, moving you through your soul work. This is all about opening up more to your spiritual path too. You've been leading with your solar plexus. You've been doing a lot of gathering of finances, and holy crap. And as I said that, my candle just kind of collapsed a little bit. Hold on. It's freaking out. The candle also has messages, so I kind of have to watch what it does. So you have already kind of amassed kind of a like a fortune for yourself in terms of your bank account. Even if you don't see like all of this in your physical bank account, it has already been amassed in your spiritual bank account, and it just has to kind of come down and catch up with you. But what happens now is your upper chakras are opening even wider, because what you may have done in the past to amass this fortune is now taking on a more spiritual aspect to it. With your crown and your third eye especially growing larger, expanding because of the spiritual work you've been doing on yourself, all the healing you've been doing, and all the ways that you've been connecting to source. And you're starting to see, you don't know yet, you have like this framework, like you know there's something you're supposed to do, but you don't have your instructions set yet. You don't know exactly what it is, but you're being prepped to move in a more spiritually based direction in terms of your finances, in terms of your soul work, your career, because yes, they're saying put your money where your mouth is. That's so weird. Put your money where your mouth is. Hold on. So they're directing me back to these cards. Seems like a big focus on the divine masculine this coming week. This is not the 11/11 show, though, because I still have an 11/11 show. So daydream. I'm looking back to these 4 cards. Brandon first saw Penny. He couldn't stop thinking about her. He wondered if she felt the same way. But all they could kind of do is kind of daydream about each other. All right. Things aren't always what they seem. Love spell, time to call in new love. And this Darius with his uniqueness. This one is the one that's kind of speaking to me right now. Darius pulled out his leather pants and silk shirt, pulled on. He loved to dress in different styles and colors, even though his family did not approve. And then the mom looking on. The mom looking on to me in this card is like she's not physically looking on. I think these are like ancestors looking on at you because you're becoming more unique. There's a snowflake on this card too, and there's a family, which I take as like spirit family, could be physical family, but looking on and just wishing that they could have been like you. So we're still in that liminal, that veil is thin kind of space. Ancestors looking on, kind of very proud of all the work that we've done. And I feel like for the divine masculine, because they're having me heavily focus on the divine masculine, so maybe there's a lot of divine masculine listening, because my audience is pretty much divided almost equally between divine masculine and divine feminine. But you, just suffice it to say that you're getting a lot of upgrades, and your ancestors are very proud of all the hard work that you've done on yourself, and they want you to not give up who you are and to meet the status quo. So again, I feel like this is really divine masculine coming into this like who you really are and opening up to who you really are and kind of taking off the 3-piece suit, so to speak, and putting on your leather pants and silk shirt and saying, you know, I have this big spiritual bank account or whatever, and I can afford now to not be so compliant with having to meet the status quo, and that I can instead relax a little bit, know that I'm financially taken care of, and that I can now just, like, it's very freeing feeling, like I can just be myself. And I have all this knowledge. So I feel like whoever's listening to this is like a more mature divine masculine. How to get it? They're saying from 30s onward, like 30 is years old and onward in the physical, with physical body's age. Listening to this, who've already amassed they keep saying already amassed your fortune, and now you can relax a little bit, take off the 3-piece suit, put on your leather pants and silk shirt, and be yourself and know that you can create anything you want. And now that you're getting these upgrades to your upper chakras and the heart space as well, you're going to be creating more heart-based, spiritually based creations and businesses and stuff. And you're going to be able to help others. Oh, here's where this is going. You're going to be able to help others. So it just does go to partnerships. You're going to be able to help others who might need your help. There might be some karmic balance going on that you're being prepped for, because there's others who are supposed to come into your reality. This is where the daydreaming is going on and the time to call in new love. So I do have to put it out there. Sometimes I try to avoid the topic, but 1111 is also a big divine counterpart, soulmate, twin flame type of a gateway. And a lot of the divine masculine here are being prepped to bring in a spiritual partner. Now, this is I've talked about this before, this is very high vibe spiritual partnerships. This is not twin flames with that whole dichotomy of the twin flame community, where there's a ton of healing and stuff that still has to be done, and there's all the ghosting and no, this is not that. This is high crystalline. Oh my God, it's so high I can barely even form the words of what it is. The vibration is so high. It's high crystalline counterparts, very high vibrational crystalline counterparts coming together in a soul partnership. It's obviously love based and there's passion around it, but it's so freaking much more high vibe than that. You've got to listen and feel it with your master eyes and all of your senses. It has so much less to do with a love relationship and so much more to do with a soul mission. Yeah, it's a soul mission. It's soul mission based. That doesn't mean that the 3D part of it doesn't play out with the, obviously all the stuff that goes with the 3D high vibe love relationship. But this one is being driven by a soul mission and a soul purpose, meaning things aren't always what they seem. They're actually better than they seem because you get the best of both worlds. You're being guided by such high vibrational powers that be on this soul mission. But you don't exactly know what it is yet. So you're still kind of waiting. So the feminine is ready for you. The divine feminine, in terms of, we hear about so-and-so have to heal this before they can come into meet so-and-so and all of that. It's the divine feminine is ready. Divine feminine has her instruction set. She's going about her business. So you divine feminine listening, you already know what to do. You have your instruction set. You just need to do it. You just need to follow through. Take charge and start doing your thing, whatever that is, whatever that means to you. If any of you, because I know not everybody listening is, in it for the partnership thing, it doesn't necessarily have to be a love-based relationships, Spirit is saying. So it can be platonic and still be as powerful. It can be platonic but still be as powerful, is what they're saying. So these are very high vibe. I just don't know. So anyway, let me just look at anything else. The best of the best. High core, I'm going back to the story. High core wants the best of us on this case. So these partnerships that are going to be coming together, there's a staggered schedule. So, every time I try to look at timing, Spirit closes me out. It's a staggered schedule. It is something they've showed me before where it's kind of staggered over the course of a couple more years, between now. It's been happening. But the cycle keeps the wheel keeps turning. So some of these partnerships come together and then it starts over again, and others that are next in line get prepped and then come together. So it's a staggered schedule. So it's different for each one of you. And I don't want you to get down on yourself, because at this point now it has nothing to do with any work that you still need to do on yourself. So divine feminines that want these types of partnerships, platonic or not, these very, very high vibe with a soul mission, high vibe soul mission, platonic or romantic relationships, whatever. There's nothing more you need to do. You just need to go about your business and keep doing what you've already been instructed, or following the instructions that you've already been given. It's in your DNA, it's in your Akashic, it's playing out through your intuition, and you just need to follow that. Divine Masculine now, we're ramping up a new bunch of partnerships now. So I know the Divine Masculine out there too want this. They really want a partnership. They keep saying there's some loneliness going on. Even though like you're a sovereign being, you don't need to have somebody to make you happy and all that. There's this loneliness factor in play where it's like, I just want my better half. It's not even better half. It's like, I just want my person. Like, I just want my person. And so just know that really, Divine Masculine too, there's nothing more you need to do but continue to focus on you. Continue to do whatever healing you're being guided to do, if that's more meditation or whatever it is. Keep up the good work, because you are being commended from the spiritual realms on the work that you've already done. You can relax now too, because you don't even have to they keep going back to this, you've amassed your fortune, so you don't have to be worried so much about the 3D resources. You have those. Now you get to kind of play. You get to play. Oh my God. You get to play and you get to focus on what's fun. Like, healing is fun. You get to focus on what's fun. And just trust that when it's time for you to be activated in terms of reaching out, you will be activated. You'll know exactly what to do. There'll be no doubt about it. And you've got a shit ton of clients supporting you as well. So you're never alone. I know you're not. But here's what they are suggesting. I'm just putting it out there. You have this divine partnership waiting in the wings. We're kind of waiting for your turn. You're waiting for divine timing to say it's time for you to reach out. So it looks like it's the Divine Masculine in these cases. For whatever reason, the Divine Masculine has to be the one to reach out to the feminine and make that first contact. That's just the way it's just how it has to be for now. So without making this week ahead thing too long, you can start to play in the 5D with this other party. I think many of you know who this other person is. If you haven't met them yet, if you haven't met them, you know of them. You know who they are. You could have been watching them for some time. Very respectfully, though. I get the sense that you're very respectfully just standing back, kind of watching, observing this other party. You can, Spirit says, now start to formally reach out in the 5D to this person. Even telepathically, they're saying, if you would. Although, it gets a little weird in the telepathic realm. But you can start to just set the intention that... let me just say, they're saying keep going. You can set the intention that you want to reach out to this person in their mental body. In whatever way is most comfortable for the both of you. So it sounds like the heart map is being created. This is a whole other show. This is like I could tangent on this for quite a while and chatter at you for quite a while on this, where I'm going with the heart map and these partnerships. But let's just keep it succinct and say that the heart map is being slowly created. Spirit did show me, I'm getting chills, yes. Chills is my confirmation. So Spirit did show me the other night in Journey. I was like, take me where you want to take me. Show me what you want to show me. And the archangels took me up to the angelic realm and showed me this place called the Temple of Reconciliation. So they're bringing this up for a reason. And then I'll be quiet, because I think I've been talking for quite some time. But I want you guys to hear this. Oh, it's not as long as I thought. Okay. They took me up to this place called the Temple of Reconciliation. And I was like, what is this place? And it's like, it's your space. It's your space alone. So I'm telling this to all of you because this is something you can do. If you want to start making a deeper connection with the energy of this other party, you can meet them. So go into meditation or journey or whatever and go up to this. It's called Temple of Reconciliation, and its sole purpose is to help you start recalling your connections to, I'm going to cry because it's so good, your connections to this other soul, this other divine partner. Because it's been blocked for you, purposely been blocked from you for a while now, that you wanted to know, like, well, you tell me I'm coming into union with a divine partnership, but you're blocking all of my past connections with that person. Why are they being blocked from me? Why can't I see the past lives that I've had with this person or sign? That's all opening up now. I did personally experience that. So just set the intention, go to this temple of reconciliation with the intention that you're going to start receiving the downloads that you need for the heart map to start being set into motion, placed between the two of you. So this is, I'm not going to talk about it now. I'm going to bring that back as a separate episode and go into more detail and take you to a journey to the temple of reconciliation, but I can't do it right now. But know that you can set the intention to go there. Start meeting on the astrals with this person. Consciously go into sacred space and call in their higher self. Start talking to them and getting to know their energy. I think that's part of it too, is getting to know their energy in advance. What do they feel like to you? How do they feel? Do they feel different than some of these other past relationships that you've been trying to handle and that you've done so much healing work around, getting yourself out of that karmic loop of always attracting these same type of people that have this similar vibe that isn't good for you. You vibing so high now that you can bring in this higher level light being who matches your frequency and start feeling them more in the 5D. So don't just observe them in the 3D, because that's kind of drawing you. What's kind of drawing you in there is their physical form, their eyes. You know their eyes. The eyes are the windows to the soul. You know maybe their smile and some of their physical features, and maybe even their voice, because there's light language and soul resonance in the voice, coming from the soul rather than the physical avatar. So start getting to know them on the 5D. So if it's not time for you to reach out in the physical yet and contact them, start really spending space with them, spending time with them in the 5D, just talking to them as if you were talking to them in the regular world, just as if you were having a conversation with them. Make that a special time, like, every night before you go to bed, sit down, just like as if you would be like talking to them every night when on the phone, or I don't know what the case may be, but whatever feels right to you, start having more of those 5D convos with this person, and let's get the heart maps, because we're trying to, it sounds like part of my role here is to prep you, help you get prepped to come into union with this counterpart. Again, platonic or romantic, whatever it is. Maybe you come together first as friends and really get to know each other, and then it blossoms or whatever. I don't know. It's going to be different for everybody. But that's what this week ahead is all about. Now, that's a lot of shit ton of stuff. And it's coming very, very fast. This month of November is like going to be here and it's going to be gone. So you're going to notice energy is ramping up. And so the other thing there that I did want to just quickly point out is in the story that came up, they were saying they were at the festival grounds. It was kind of sunny, but that rain was coming, and that there had been put up like all these tents and umbrellas and awnings and stuff for people to go under for protection if they felt they needed it. So winds of change are blowing. I also got the Thunder Beings card earlier from the Shaman's Drum deck, which is my deck. But it says, when the sky rattles and the earth shakes, it is time to regroup. Big change is coming your way. So Thunder Beings were showing up in this chapter reading. And so if you feel like, that's a lot coming at me all at one time, then you can ground and go deeper into ramping up your own personal protection, bringing in more shielding around you if it feels like it's too much. Now, the same thing with these upgrades, Divine Masculine, these upgrades you're getting, you don't have to take all the energy that's coming in. If it feels like it's too much, you can tell your guides to back it down a little bit, because I've had that one time where it was like, whoa, it was just me, my regular me, and I'm like, am I on some like LSD trip or something? I mean, I was seeing like flashing lights and colors and stuff. I mean, just even with my eyes open, and it was just like insane amount of energy, and I was getting really anxious about it. And then Spirit's like, you're in control. And I was like, okay, well then you need to ramp it down, because that is way too much for me. So just know if it feels too much, If it's coming at you outwardly, ramp up your protection. And if it's coming, if the crown chakra opening is happening too quickly for you, know that you can ask your guides to just taper that down a little bit and bring it in a little bit more slowly and gracefully, so that it's not so overwhelming to you. All right, loves, I have got to move on to other things now. I'm going to check in here real quick and see if there's anything else they want me to say. Okay, they're saying that's all. So the next time I chat with you, we will be doing a show on the 1111 Gateway. There's much to talk about there, Spirit saying, much to prep for. So that will probably be later on this week. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you again soon in the next episode. Take care.